So this is a Volkswagen Caddy. It's a 2018 model, and today we're going to be installing the Blackvue 750S. Considering the fact that we don't have any rear view sight in this car, there is no way to actually pull the cable through, or at least not necessary. So we're just going to do a one-channel setup today. So what we're going to do is we're going to place the camera right here to the right of the rear view mirror, which is rather useless. And we are going to route the cable up through here and just under here. You can pull this down a bit so you can get the cable in and route it the whole way, all the way up to here. This lining you can just push in a bit so you can get the cable through just on the ridge. You don't have to push it through or remove this pillar. And keep routing it through to the weather stripping. And we can just pull the weather stripping back a bit. And as you can see, there's a gap here as well, where you can push the cable in all the way down. Keep going all the way down. And we're going to remove this plastic cover as well as this plastic cover, and this is where we have all the fuses. So if we just pull straight down, we have all the fuses, so we actually can connect the Power Magic Pro setup for a cleaner look. And we have this hatch on the side as well. See if I can get it off with one hand. No problem. There we go. So for the Power Magic Pro, we need an accessory fuse that is on only when the ignition is on, and we need a fuse that's on constantly even with the ignition off, and we need a ground. That's three of the key things we need to get the Power Magic Pro running and the camera running as well. So before you start, just make sure you have everything you need. Obviously the front camera itself, the accessories that come with the camera, the power cable for the front camera, the Power Magic Pro and the Power Magic Pro cabling, some fuse tabs. In this case, we're going to use 2 fuse tabs, some fuses for the fuse tabs, and some 12 volt accessories. So what we're going to do now is to check which of the fuses in the fuse panel are, or at least one of them, are constant power, so with the ignition switched off. So we have a multimeter, and we're going to set the multimeter to volts DC. I'm on the 20 mark. So we're going to take the negative lead and put it somewhere where it gets good ground. So for filming purposes, we're just going to put it in there and just let it rest right there. And we're going to take the positive cable, and we're gonna, let's see if I can get in here, take the end of it onto one of the prongs of the fuses, and we're gonna check the multimeter at the same time to see if it's getting voltage. So I put it on the prong right there, and we're gonna check, and we're getting 12 volts right there. So if I take it off, we get 0 volts. So if I check another one like this one right there, we check the multimeter, we're getting 12 volts there as well. So I'm going to check the one next to it. Let's see, right there, and that one's given us 12 volts as well, which is good. Now we're going to check with the ignition turned on. However, we need to find the fuse though that's not 12 volt right now. So we're gonna keep checking. I'm gonna do, let's see, this one up here. and we're gonna check. And we're getting 0 volts. We'll check the one next to it, right there. Getting 0 volts there as well. I'm gonna check the other one and see if the whole of the top row is 0 volts, which it is. And just to make sure, we're gonna go down 1 step to check. Let's see. It's a bit hard to do this with one hand. This one, and we're getting 12 volts. So we know the bottom row is constant power. We know the top row isn't constant power as it is right now. So now, with the ignition on, we are going to check the top row now to see if we're getting power. So we're still connected to ground, as you can see. And with the prong, we're gonna check the top row. So we're gonna do the 7.5 fuse. We're getting 12 volts. We'll do the 10 amp fuse. Getting 12 volts there as well. 7.5 amps, we're getting 12 volt there as well. So we got a couple to choose from. So the bottom row on this VW Caddy 2018 is constant power. The top row is accessory power only. So we got a couple to choose from. Now for this step, we're gonna choose a mounting location for the camera. And on this Caddy, I think the mounting location is going to be just under the rear view mirror, with the lens facing in the very center. Something like this, just below it. I think is going to be good. However, I need 2 hands for this task. So as soon as I've mounted the camera on the rear view mirror here, I'll get back to you. So now the camera is attached to the window, and we're just going to check that it powers and check the position of the camera in the Blackvue app. So we've got the power cable right here. So we're going to take the end of the power cable, just remove this cover, put the power cable in, and on this car there's a 12 volt socket right back here, and the ignition is on. And it's turning on. And don't forget to put the memory card in as well.
Initializing SD card. Please do not disconnect the power. Restarting.
So when you've connected to the Blackvue camera's Wi-Fi, you can open up the Blackvue app and enter Blackvue Wi-Fi. And we can check the status of the camera by the camera button on the bottom, and we see the live view, and it's looking pretty good. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So the next step is to actually route the cable. So I'm gonna route it on the bottom, through up, just like, let's see if I can get it through, just like this, on the side of the rear view mirror, and up through the ceiling by just pushing this liner, just pulling it out a bit and pushing the cable in all the way through there, down the pillar, and just to there. So what we're gonna do now is to actually connect the cabling to the fuse box. So what I've done is, on the ground cable, I've connected one of these to go as ground, and I have this set up. See if we can focus. I have this set up right here, which is gonna go right in that hole right here. It's gonna go through like this, so we have a good ground, as well as having the fuse tabs on the battery cable, as well as on the ACC cable. So what I'll do is I will be connecting the fuse tabs with fuses into the fuse box. I'm gonna take the same type of fuse that's already in place and put it on the fuse tab. So we have 2 fuses on the fuse tab of the same kind that's already available in the actual fuse box, so we don't get confused which fuse is going where whenever we disconnect the camera for perhaps sale of the car or whatever else. Okay, so now we got everything hooked up. We've got the camera power hooked up to the PowerMagic Pro. We've got the PowerMagic Pro dangling just down here, connected for now in off mode. We've got the battery cable, the yellow one, connected to constant power in the fuse box. We've got the red cable, the ACC cable, connected to a fuse where it's only active when the ignition is on. So everything's been wired up. Now we're gonna try to start the car and see if the camera turns on. The keys right here. So we'll start the car up and check the camera. So the GPS light is on. We're waiting for the recording button as well as the audio that the camera has started recording or is starting to record. So the record light is on.
Blackvue for your safe driving. Starting normal recording.
It's all good, so the camera is running, it's recording, and now if we turn the PowerMagic Pro on and we shut the ignition off, you can see that the camera is still, if you can see the light there, it's still recording. So that's it for the installation. Now we just need to tidy everything up, put some zip ties on it, as well as mount the PowerMagic Pro, which I'm going to be mounting just like this, just under here, with some double-sided tape, and just push the cables through and put all the plastic covers back on, and we are good to go. Thank you for watching.